I think it's safe to say the Force is very strong with this episode. Wait a minute. It's not working! The Force! So episode 5, chapter 13, entitled The Jedi of the Mandalorian. I'm already excited, like I'm just giddy and jumping for joy regarding this episode. But this episode is called The Jedi, and it sees the Mandalorian journey to a very cruel world ruled by a magistrate who makes a very powerful enemy. And as the title suggests, that powerful enemy is a Jedi, and we finally get live action Ahsoka Tano. Actually, you know what? Pause. For this entire review, sitting next to Baby Yoda, which actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say that. I'll get to that later. But sitting next to Baby Yoda, we're going to put Ahsoka Tano for this review. I got a little nervous stepping so far back away from the camera for a second to put up Ahsoka because I'm like, uh-oh. Can everybody see my ass? Oh, okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. But yeah, so as I've said in all of my Mandalorian reviews, but just like Stan Lee said, everybody's comic is somebody's first comic. I have to treat every video that I do as somebody's first video. So if you don't know, and this is your first time coming on my Mandalorian videos, I do talk full spoilers. So if you do not want to be spoiled regarding the Mandalorian, even though I kind of did spoil it a little bit, but regardless, because I didn't tell you the plot, but if you don't want to be spoiled for The Mandalorian, click off this episode, come back and watch it. But please, if you can, force push to that like button. It'll really help with the YouTube algorithm. The way it works is if people don't hit that like button, YouTube is less likely to recommend this video or just my channel in general to other people. Thank you so much, and may the Force be with you. So yeah, like I said, this episode, like everybody was awaiting this episode. Ever since it was first announced that Rosario Dawson was cast as Ahsoka Tano and she was going to appear in this show, that's all everybody was just waiting for. And then when you got to the episode that Bo-Katan, played by Katie Stackhoff, showed up, and I believe episode 3, and she name dropped Ahsoka, everybody is just salivating at the mouth, like waiting, like, oh my god, when are we gonna get Ahsoka? When are we gonna get Ahsoka? We thought we were gonna get her last week and we didn't get her. Are we gonna get her this week? Oh my god, the name of this episode is The Jedi. We're gonna get her this week. And yes, like they knew exactly what we wanted in this episode. Like this episode was directed by Dave Filoni, one of the creators and the person that basically shaped Ahsoka Tano into the character that we know and love. And she was also actually one of the last characters that George Lucas had his hand in creating before he fully sold off the rights to Star Wars to Disney. And so Dave Filoni knew exactly what we wanted, because like this episode opens with some Ahsoka Tano Jedi badass action. And just like soon as I saw those white lightsabers light up and you heard the sound of the lightsabers and you saw Ahsoka Tano, I was just like, oh my god, this is everything I've ever wanted in any Star Wars series. And honestly, like watching Ahsoka in this episode kind of made me wish we had like a series with a Jedi, because truth of the matter is, like, despite the fact that I really do enjoy The Mandalorian, and The Mandalorian has restored my faith in the Star Wars property period after the very lackluster set of movies that we gotten with the new trilogy and then even Solo, a Star Wars story. And even though I liked Rogue One, I didn't love Rogue One. So for the most part, the movies haven't really been hitting for me. And not even just The Mandalorian, but even the video game that came out, Star Wars Fallen Order, like those two properties restored my faith in the Star Wars franchise. But what is the thing that people love, and what is the thing that people always want to see when it comes to Star Wars? Star Wars is about space wizards, the Jedi. And I just want to see a series with Jedi. Like the whole time Ahsoka Tano was taking out these creatures, I was just like, oh, please just give me a Jedi series. Like give me a spin-off of Ahsoka Tano. What has she been up to? What is she up to now? But of course, I'll get more into that later. But yeah, the way this scene opened, like it was a perfect way to reintroduce the world, or introduce the world for those of you that don't know the character of Ahsoka Tano. Maybe you don't watch the Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels. I do recommend you should go, if you haven't seen it, watch the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. They are very good. And I haven't actually finished the series. And then based on a character that they named later on in this episode, I'm like, yeah, I really need to go back and finish the Clone Wars and Rebels. I think I've seen up to season 4 of the Clone Wars, and there are 7 seasons. So yeah, I need to finish the last 3 seasons. But regardless, I still know who Ahsoka Tano is, and I still know how badass she is, and I still know how beloved she is by the entire Star Wars fandom. So I loved this opening scene. And so she's taking out these guards pretty effortlessly, and then she confronts the magistrate, the leader of these bad guys, and she basically confronts her, basically saying, take me to your leader. And the woman tries to threaten her, like, look, if you attack me, if you try to pursue me further, I'm gonna kill everybody in this village. And Ahsoka kind of goes to her like, look, the people in this village are suffering anyway, so if you kill them, it's gonna be more or less a quick death. So I don't care, you could threaten them as much as you want, it's not gonna stop me from pursuing you. And I'm like, wow. And to me, it kind of shows how much Ahsoka has changed, because yeah, she's still a protector of the innocent, but at the same time, she's not gonna let the innocent get in the way of what she needs to accomplish. And it seemed like if needs be, she's willing to let people die for, I guess, the greater good. And so Ahsoka gives her an ultimatum, like, look, you have until morning to either surrender or I'm coming in. And then like a ninja, she disappears. And that's when we see the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda arrive on the planet, and they see the Mandalorian. They know what Mandalorians are. They know Mandalorians are hunters. So the magistrate basically implores the Mandalorian. She tries to hire the Mandalorian, like, look, there's a Jedi that's on this planet. She's an enemy, and I know the Mandalorians and Jedis are enemies. If you kill her, I will give you this Beskar spear that I've acquired. And I was wondering, I was like, where did she get that from? Did she perhaps kill a Mandalorian? And so Mando, of course, because he went to this planet looking for Ahsoka Tano, he pretends to take the job to kill Ahsoka Tano to go look for her. And eventually they find each other, but Ahsoka assumes that the Mandalorian has come to kill her. So she comes in ready to attack. And so she takes out her lightsabers and she tries to slash him, but that Beskar armor is so strong that it doesn't cut through him. And I was like, wow, like how strong is that Beskar armor? Like never before have I seen any type of thing in the Star Wars universe, for the most part, any type of armor or anything like that a lightsaber cannot cut through, except for like another weapon. And so thankfully he did have that Beskar armor, because it gave him enough time to tell her, like, look, I've been sent here by Bo-Katan, I'm not your enemy. And it's at that moment that she instantly notices Baby Yoda, and this is when we finally get the reveal of what Baby Yoda's name actually is. Because as you know, with Star Wars and Jedi and mind powers, or maybe you don't know, but you found out in this episode, Jedi can actually kind of communicate with each other telepathically. They can sense each other's feelings and thoughts, and they can read thoughts and emotions and stuff like that. And so because of that, Ahsoka Tano is able to read from Baby Yoda that his name is actually Grogu. And it was so cute, because every time somebody said his name, especially the Mandalorian, he'd be like, huh? It's almost kind of like a dog, where you would say a dog's name and a dog would be like, yeah. Like, I love to see the interaction between Mandalorian and Baby Yoda in this episode. And it just kind of goes to show how much they've grown to come to care for each other. And also how much Baby Yoda has kind of changed the Mandalorian. Like, you think about how the Mandalorian was in the first episode. He's way more caring today than he was when this show first started. And you get a little bit of backstory regarding Grogu and find out that, yeah, he actually was raised by the Jedi. He was on Coruscant. But because of everything that happened with Order 66, somebody smuggled him off planet, and I'm guessing that person that ended up doing that died, and so he was pretty much lost until the Mandalorian found him. And then, of course, bringing up callbacks to Darth Vader and Anakin. Once Ahsoka Tano saw how attached Grogu was to the Mandalorian, she was just like, I can't train this child because he's way too attached to you, and I've seen where that road leads, and I'm not going to do that again. And again, if you're fans of the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, granted, I haven't seen Star Wars Rebels, but I did see the fight scene that Darth Vader and Ahsoka Tano had in Star Wars Rebels, and this show takes place after Star Wars Rebels. So she knows her former master, her former friend, Anakin Skywalker, is Darth Vader, the person that pretty much destroyed all the Jedi. And you could obviously tell that that wound of losing Anakin is still very deep within her. And of course, this is an episode of The Mandalorian. It seems like every episode of The Mandalorian, there's some type of mission that needs to be completed, and this episode is no different. So Ahsoka Tano basically tells him, like, look, fine, I'll train Baby Yoda, but only if you help me with this mission that I'm trying to take out and free and save this town from this woman, this magistrate. And so they end up teaming up, and they end up liberating the town. And it turns out that Ahsoka Tano is after this man named Admiral Thrawn. And I don't really know that much about Admiral Thrawn. I know he played a very huge role in the Star Wars expanded universe before Disney bought the rights and made those comic books non-canon, to much of the chagrin of fans of the expanded universe. And then they've been slowly slowly introducing these characters from the expanded universe, but because they didn't introduce the backstory and everything that went with those characters, it doesn't have as much punch. And I do know also that Admiral Thrawn did, I think he showed up in the Clone Wars series, but I don't really know. Again, I haven't finished the Clone Wars, so up to the point that I got to, he wasn't in it, so I don't really know much about Admiral Thrawn. I just know he's a big name in Star Wars. But I'm just like, this seems like another story thread that they're setting up separate from Moff Gideon, and I'm like, are they potentially setting up for another spinoff? They're announcing all these other properties within Star Wars. You got a Boba Fett series coming. There's rumors that Cara Dune is going to have a series, maybe, depending on everything that's happening with Gina Carano. Obi-Wan is supposedly getting a series. Could Ahsoka Tano be getting a series next? I hope so. I would love to see an Ahsoka Tano spinoff series. And then also with that, like, based on the way this show is going and how they're expanding the world of Star Wars, like, honestly, I wouldn't mind if they take The Mandalorian as the next starting point of the Star Wars franchise going forward. Like, let them completely erase from canon The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker, and just say those movies are part of the expanded universe, and we're gonna start from scratch from Star Wars here. Because I really, like, the more I watch The Mandalorian and the more I think about the new trilogy, I'm just like, yeah, like, the new trilogy's terrible. Just erase it from canon and start building the universe from The Mandalorian on. Because I'm just like, based on the potential of where this world can go, and then based on where I know it ends up going with the new trilogy, I'm like, I hate it. But anyway, so they end up taking out the town, and then Ahsoka Tano sees more interaction between Baby Yoda or Grogu and the Mandalorian. She's like, yeah, no, I honestly, I can't do it, because again, he's way too attached to you. But what I can do is tell you, you're gonna go again with the Mandalorian. You can't have the Mandalorian without there being some type of mission. So he's sent on another mission where he has to go to some special mountain or whatever, and then Baby Yoda can have visions of where he wants his future to potentially go. And I think this is the same mountain that they had Anakin go to in the Clone Wars. And spoilers for the Clone Wars, but if I remember correctly, he saw his future of potentially becoming Darth Vader, but then his memories ended up being erased of that moment, and so then he ended up fulfilling that future. I'm assuming this is perhaps the same location. But yeah, either way, this episode slapped. Is that what the kids say? I think that's what the kids say. Yeah, this episode was just fantastic. I loved this episode. I really hope we get to see more of Ahsoka Tano. I hope this isn't the last we saw of her. And also, something I probably should have mentioned, like, considering that Rosario Dawson is playing the live action version of Ahsoka Tano, I didn't have a problem with her. Like, granted, I still was kind of caught off guard because I'm so used to Ashley Eckstein's voice. I think that's her name, Ashley Eckstein. She's been voicing the character of Ahsoka Tano for so long that I'm just used to hearing that voice come out of her mouth. But I liked Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano. I thought she was pretty badass as that character. And I know she's been campaigning for a long time to play a live action version of Ahsoka Tano. So you see right there, kids, do wish for something. Sometimes your dreams do come true. You just gotta work at it, or be a famous celebrity and release a tweet. But yeah, this episode was definitely my favorite episode of the entire season so far. And I just love all of the seeds that it planted for the future. And yeah, really, I would give this episode of The Mandalorian a straight up blockbuster. But the question is, have you guys seen this latest episode of The Mandalorian? What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, if you can, please again hit that thumbs up button. It'll really help out the channel. If this is one of your first time checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. And if you like what you see, please subscribe for more and hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video, every single time I'm gonna go live. And tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time. May the Force be with you.